Hi, and welcome to my series of Knooking 101. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to make increases and decreases. Let's start with the increases. I already made a few increases on this piece, as you can see. And if you do a little bit of research in terms of increases for nooking, there are so many different options, and some of them work better than others, in my opinion. So I will show you the two options that I feel like work the best, and that will also give you a almost seamless increase. Of course, as with every technique that works with yarn, increases and decreases are more or less visible. I mean, if you have a bigger piece of clothing or fabric that you're going to make, the increases won't be that visible, but for smaller pieces, it will definitely show. So just keep that in mind if you want to do increases and decreases. And to increase and decrease, usually the best side to do it would be like the front side or the flat side. In this case here, I have the stockinette stitch, where you can also easily then see where the increase was and how to do it. So, but you can of course do it also in the back. This is really like a preference thing. Okay, so let's make the first increase method. It doesn't matter where you increase in your work. The only place where I wouldn't do it is always the first and the last stitch, mainly so that you can keep like the border in shape. But everywhere else, it's basically free to go. The previous stitches I made like always in the second stitch, but you can of course make your increases also in the center or somewhere else. So the first increase method would be to go into the next stitch right here and pick up the loop. And then go back down and choose like the next leg here or in the same stitch. You see here we put out here was the loop in this previous V right here, our second stitch. And then we go either in the right or the left side, depending on with what hand you're crocheting, and then just pick up a second loop through that leg of the V. I will show it again. So here's our stitch, the loop. We just pick it up and then just place our next knit stitch right here, and then we go back into the same stitch right here. You could also go like right in between it, although this would create like a bigger hole in the center, as you can also see here. So make sure to grab the leg that comes in the direction that you work in and just pull up a second loop, and like that you made an increase. This was option number 1. And option number 1 gives like an almost seamless way of increasing, but personally I prefer another version, but I just wanted to show you both. So the next version I'm going to show you, because for this, usually when you do the first method, you would always go along like how you're nooking. So in this case, as a lefty, I start from the left and then pick up the loop or pick up the next stitch, and then go to the right leg of the V where I'm at. And when you come to the other side, you would then start basically with the leg first and then pick up the initial stitch, just so that your stitches are going with the flow basically. And this is something that I'm not so happy about, so I'll show it again if you want to do this method, how it works on the other side. So when you then come along and you want to do an increase on the end side basically of your piece, then you would pick up this side leg of the V first before picking up the next loop to increase it. And then just finish the round. Maybe I just finished the round and go back with some purl stitches. Here we go. Let's take a closer look at those increases. Here you can see the first one. And as you can see, when you go up in the leg, at some point, there will be like a bigger hole that gets created because we are just basically adding another stitch row right here. And on the other side, it's the same, like this. Here you can see it where the second one then comes out, and here's also something that looks a little bit irregular. That's basically because of picking up the loop through the leg. On the back you don't really see any difference because the purl stitches are still there. But now I'm just going to show you the second version, and then it's really up to you to decide which version you like best. So the second method works the following. When you push your work a little bit to the front, you have those horizontal bars from the purl stitches, and the increase stitch that we are going to make is going to be exactly in there. So we are going to pull up a loop from the back side of our stitch and then go in our initial loop, the initial stitch, and pull up a loop to make an increase. I will show it again. Let's just do some in the middle. And like this, also you don't have to decide for whatever side. You just push your work to the front, find that side bar, that horizontal bar, and just make a stitch through that, and then take the original loop, and here you have your increase. I will just finish the round and then come back to show you how this looks. And here we go, the other kind of increase. Personally, I think it just like it makes the pattern much more closed. Here we can still see the other hole that's in there, and I think this works just perfectly fine. Here's the other one. So it really creates like two extra strands of stitches on top of one. And this is why I prefer these kind of increases. Now let's take a look at the decreases. And I can tell you that decreases are super, super simple and super easy. Again, there are multiple options if you check other tutorials and the Knooking books, but to be honest, some things just don't have to be super complicated because the decreases can be very simple. You just pick up two loops, yarn over, and just pull through both of them, and here you have your decrease. I'll show it again. You pick up two loops and yarn over and pull through both of them. Now, as you can see, the first loop will always lay on top of the second loop. There are options and ways of how to avoid that, but honestly, I think this is absolutely more than enough. If you want to, I mean, you could, of course, pick up the loop, the second loop first, and then push the first one over as well afterwards, and then just finish the stitch to get like a different look, and this will also push the second stitch more to the back and creates a little bump. So I'm not a fan of this. I will just always do my decreases like I showed you. Pick the first or pick the next two loops, yarn over and pull through. And the same works also if you would do it with the purl stitches. Just pick up two loops in the back and then just purl stitch through both of them. I wouldn't think too much for decreases, so this would be the way to do it for me. But of course, feel free to research any of the other methods that are out there and just pick the one that you like. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about Knooking, make sure to subscribe to my channel and to check out my Knooking 101 playlist, where you will find all the episodes about how to learn Knooking. Bye!